Okay, Dr. Mindy here, and I am starting to teach from my new book, Age Like a Girl. Comes out in December, so let me know if you've pre-ordered it. I'm really excited about this one. This has literally been a 10-year research project to really answer the question of what's the purpose of menopause. Why does the human body live so long without a major system operating the way it used to? No other mammal on the planet does that. So I've been really fascinated by why the body would allow us to go for over 40% of our life post-reproductively. Like, there's a purpose behind that. And so for the last 10 years, I've been studying it, and I put it in a book. And let me know if you pre-ordered it. I, as always, appreciate your support. Okay, with that out of the way, let me tell you what I want to do today. I want to talk about exercise. And the reason I wanted to pick exercise today is we really look a lot here on YouTube at what the trends are. We look at what you guys comment on. We look at what you're requesting, your questions. So thank you to all of you who make comments, because when you make comments, we're listening and we're watching and seeing what you need. And exercise is a big one. It seems as if there's some confusion on exercise and aging. And there's definitely some confusion on exercise and fasting. So let me explain it to you the Age Like a Girl way, and help you understand what is happening to you as your sex hormones are changing. And men, if you're here, as always, I never want to leave the men out. We'll talk about, sit with me for a moment, because I want to talk about fasting and exercise too, because this is a big one that comes up a lot. So for women, one of the big things that I'm hoping you all are gathering from this conversation that we've been having, many of you, we've been having this conversation for years here on my channel, is that at 40 is this placeholder. It's like this marker in a woman's life where her hormones are really going on a wild ride. And every woman is going to experience that ride very differently. What makes that ride smooth or bumpy is your lifestyle. So we are living in a moment right now in history where we have brought menopause to the forefront of the cultural conversation, which is amazing. I don't know about you all, but it's really exciting to see that women can openly talk about it. But the part that has been sad for me is to watch how the conversation is centered around HRT. And I really, again, go back to HRT as a personal decision between you and your doctor. If you have questions about it, please go ask the doctor who's working with you. What I'm here to do is really teach lifestyle. And what is the lifestyle that matches this massive hormonal shift? And in Age Like a Girl, I talk about estrogen's girl gang and how she has these other molecules that she's worked with. And when it comes to exercise, there are actually two of them that impact the type of exercise you should do after 40. And that is that when estrogen diminishes, when she goes down in your 40s, whether you're doing HRT or not, you're not supposed to have the same levels of estrogen at 55 as you did at 25. So just keep that in mind. So as you the estrogen starts to decline, so does collagen and creatine. So this is important because collagen is lubrication for joints. We tend to think of collagen as for our skin. And yeah, we don't want wrinkles and we're not excited about all that. But really, we need more collagen for skin and for joints. So if I'm not getting as much natural endogenous collagen production as I used to in my younger years, I have two choices. I have one choice of maybe I should change my exercise routine. Maybe I need to look at more cross training, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Second choice is, well, maybe I need to substitute in with collagen. That's also a great option. So we're going to start off talking about that. Second thing is creatine. Creatine is getting a lot of airtime right now in the health world, that a lot of people are into supplementing with creatine. We're finding it helps with cognition. We find that it helps with muscle strength. So that's awesome. Like, and there are both collagen and creatine rich foods you can start to eat that I would encourage you to double down on after 40. We'll talk about that in a moment. But there's this real shift that if you're not adding those two nutrients in, and you're not changing the type of exercise you're doing, and you're exercising a lot, you are more prone to injury. I used to see this in my clinic all the time. Women in their late 40s that were like exercise queens, and they were all the time exercising, kept getting injured. And so one injury would last forever. And then if they didn't course correct, then another injury would pile on top of that until they could no longer do what they love. So I just want you to take away for this moment that there needs to be a change in exercise and an addition of these key nutrients. So we want to add those in. Now, what I've been teaching you here around the grandmother hypothesis in the Age Like a Girl book is that there is an evolutionary reason that we live 42.5% of our life in this post-reproductive state. And one of the reasons for this, check this out. One of the reasons that we live so long post-reproductively is because the way our body is designed, check this out, is that all that energy that went towards reproduction now gets handed back to us. So it's almost like our body's like, hey, we were using a lot of energy to like put an egg out and make all these hormones. We're not putting eggs out anymore. We're not in that business. So we can take all that energy and we can give it back to you. And the grandmother hypothesis says it comes back to you in 3 ways. First way is fitness, because your evolutionary design was for you to go and walk on long treks. This is, again, I'm not going to go into all the details of this, but you were designed for endurance. You were designed for increased fitness. I don't know about you all, but I was mesmerized yesterday by this 80-year-old who just completed the Ironman in Hawaii. Anybody else see that? I watched her. At first, I was like, you're crazy. What are you doing? And then I was like, oh, but there's a perfect example. At 80, she was designed still for fitness. She was still able to complete an Ironman, a full Ironman at 80. That's insane. But that would make sense because all the energy that was going towards reproduction goes back to you. Well, 2 other things that get restored back to you is cognition. What? We don't talk about it like you get cognition back, and leadership skills, like your ability to lead people becomes completely changed compared to your younger years. That's for another video. So when we are looking at fitness, we want to break it down into categories. And the categories are strength training, balance, and endurance. So you want to make sure that you're incorporating all 3 of those. So strength training is why everybody's so excited about women lifting heavy weights. I think it's great. And every expert I've talked to on my podcast has said 3 reps, 3 sets, maximum reps, as heavy as you can, going about 8 reps, somewhere in there. You're not talking a lot. We've talked about this here on YouTube before, and I have all kinds of protocols in Age Like a Girl.
Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free, and it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool, and it's going to show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you got to do is click on the link below and enjoy.
Okay, let's see if you have any questions for me. Kelly Morgan said, I really enjoyed your book. Thank you. Appreciate that. And she's trying to put healthy carbs into the nurture phase of my cycle. Yeah. So, okay. So Kelly, basically, just so everybody can understand what Kelly asked, she's saying that adding carbs in is making her gain weight. So I don't know your medical history, Kelly, but I'd be curious what your hemoglobin A1C is. Because a lot of people who are still insulin resistant meaning they have a hemoglobin A1C of 5.7 or higher. You add just a little bit of carbs in and you're going to gain weight. So if that's you, but you still need some glucose to make progesterone, it's this weird catch-22. So if that's you, here's the carbs I would focus on. I would focus on sweet potatoes. I would focus on berries. I would focus on green apples, and then I would do a ton of vegetables, and I would do protein. And I would see if that's enough for you to keep maintaining your cycle so that you don't lose your menstrual cycle. So you're getting enough glucose, and I would do sweet potatoes if I didn't say those. So sweet potatoes, berries, and green apples are carbs that I wouldn't typically give a person really trying to go strict keto. So it's sort of a low carb version of the nurture phase. So maybe stick with those foods and then protein and nothing else, and see if that helps in your nurture phase. So hopefully that they gave you something to work on. Okay, I got one more question. I'm a 68 postmenopausal woman, active 2 times a week, but just started having hip pain, osteo. Yes. Okay. I've been around a lot of people who've had joint replacements. Please save your joints. So the first thing I would say is, are you doing collagen and creatine? You need to be doing those every single day. So make sure that you're adding those in. The third thing that I would really recommend is that you're doing good oils. Make sure you're off the bad oils and on the good oils. You need to make sure you're off canola, cottonseed, vegetable, soybean, and that you're doing plenty, if not a ton, of olive oil, avocado oil, sesame oil, MCT, coconut oil. These are really good for lubricating the joints. So make sure you're not eating the bad, that you're eating the good, adding in collagen, adding in creatine, you can add in a good fatty acid supplement like a fish oil that is got a good balance of omega-3, 6, and 9. Body Bio puts out a good product. Again, I'm not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form, but they have a good product. So those are the things I would tell you to add in. But then, this is the other thing that I would say is that you got to make sure you're doing enough cross training. I don't know if you say you're doing strength training and walking, but I would be doing yoga. I would be doing squatting. I would really try to keep those hips nice and open. Yoga is really great because they have so many hip openers in yoga. But you got to don't ever let that hip joint get tight, because if it gets tight, even when you're walking around your house, like you're just still rubbing the edges of those joints.